Welcome to As Goes Wisconsin, Hour 2. Just to clarify, she is not new mom yet. Kristen is on maternity leave. We are waiting for the little girl to arrive. No word on delivery yet or anything. And as soon as we know something, we will let you know. And Kristen will be joining us on the show once she comes, and probably not this week, I would think, but certainly, hopefully, by next week. Coming up at 11:20, Mike Clemons, Civic Media's own sports reporter, will be joining us to talk about the Packers' surprising come from behind win yesterday, 18-17. That was quite the fourth quarter, and it was a lot of fun to watch, actually. And then at 11:33, Robin Grams from the City of Waukesha will be here live in person to talk about Wauk-tober, which is a big wine event, walking event in downtown Waukesha, which we love. So stick around for that as well. Right now, though, wanted to talk about unusual pets. And I've known people who have had boa constrictors. There are many other odd pets, but this springs from a newly approved ordinance in Madison, which allows residents there to keep miniature pigs as pets. This is after a pig called Rudy, who lived in a yard along Madison's southwest bike path, who's become known for his strolls through the neighborhood while his human walks him on a leash. But after a neighbor complaint, Rudy's owners were sent a notice in July informing them their pig is illegal under city code and they could face a fine. However, there was an 11-8 vote from the Common Council on Tuesday night, and Rudy now has the all clear to stay in Madison. The ordinance allows one vaccinated pig per household, can't weigh more than 300 pounds, must be outfitted with a microchip identifying its owner by name and address, and the pig can go out as long as it is led by a competent individual on a leash, which is no longer than 6 feet. So, how do we feel about unusual pets? Do you have an unusual pet? Should people have unusual pets? Are you inspired now to maybe consider a mini pig? Although I have to say, if you're 300 pounds, is that really a mini pig? Maybe to other pigs, but that seems like an awfully big pet. 844-967-2789, 844-96-PARTY. Unusual pets. Do you have one? Do you want one? Did you have one? I knew a woman who had a boa constrictor, Greg Bach, and she named it Fluffy.
I went through a snake phase.
Did you?
I really wanted a snake.
You did?
Yeah. I thought, I don't know. I'm not cool or like tough or anything, but I just thought having a snake was cool. And then I think what happened is you meet more than one friend who has a snake and you realize this is not right.
I'm not as unique as I thought.
No, I'm not I'm just a little not cool guy, basically.
What did you name it? What kind of snake was it, and what did you name it?
I didn't have one.
Oh, you didn't?
I wanted one.
Oh, you wanted one.
I wanted one because I thought that was because also it's kind of a pet that it's like you don't have to walk it. You don't have to do like the.
But you have to feed it live things.
Yeah.
Other than that.
I mean, sure.
Don't you have to? I mean,
I don't think it has to be alive. You just have to feed. Like you can go to the pet store and I don't know. I think. I don't have one, so I have no pets right now. My life is not a good pet friendly world right now. But there is talk in the Bach household about a dog.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because we had talked early in the year about that.
Yeah.
I have friends who had a lizard.
Oh, and my mother, if you say Mama Bach, if you say, oh, they have a lizard, that's not a pet.
See, and I would agree with you. And it got to the point where it got so big. I mean, that thing had to be at least a foot long. Its tail was huge.
Yeah.
And they went away at one point and asked me to take care of whatever his name was, because he can flick his tail at you now, and it's like I'm not messing with the lizard.
No, thank you. There's no friend I care about enough to be like, I'll come take care of your dog. I'll do that, but a lizard? No.
Not doing the lizard.
Nope.
Not doing the snake. Not going to happen.
I'll go as far as pig or a mini horse.
Mini horse, I could see.
Yeah.
And I do know that pigs are supposedly really intelligent
animals. As long as they're small, I don't want to have to wrestle a 300-pound pig. Like, to me, that's no longer like when I hear a pet pig, I think of a tiny,
A
tiny little.
teacup, a
Yeah,
teacup
exactly. And that
thing.
stays that size. That's it. Once it gets to a certain point where when it's outweighing me, it's not a pet anymore. It is
It's
now,
a roommate.
it's a roommate that doesn't pay rent and eats my food.
And you have to pick up after that
Yeah.
300-pound pig.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
thank you.
and I guess that's the biggest one of the larger drawbacks I can imagine with having a pet pig, because growing up, one of the girls that I went to high school with, her father was a pig farmer, and there's nothing quite like that aroma.
it's a
Nothing.
it's a special smell. We have a text message from the, let's see here, from the 262 saying pigs are allowed in household as long as it's a single pig and microchip. That would never fly in Waukesha County because there are too many households with multiple Republicans.
Ouch.
Oh, come on.
No, that was just taking a shot.
That was a shot, and that was mean. We're having a nice, lovely conversation about pigs.
and, and and then there's a that's fine. 844-967-2789. What pets did you have as a kid? What pets do you have now? Do you have an unusual pet? Do you know people who have an unusual pet? 844-967-2789. Are they willing to be chipped? Unlike our texture imply that there are politicians who don't want to be microchipped. I'm just curious. I mean, we had fish tank when I was growing up. We
Yep.
always had a dog.
Mm-hmm.
There was a turtle phase, which I have memories of, and I just remember how slimy the container got
Yeah.
really quickly.
We had fish. I had fish in my room. Learned about the circle of life the hard way when we had a
Oh.
fish that was pregnant, and
Oh, they eat them.
yep, gone. I was devastated.
Really?
Yeah. That was not fun. Then we had a dog for like it was it wasn't a great experience. Had a bird, which I just don't think we should have birds. I don't. It's just zoos or in the wild. That's it.
No birds in cages at home.
Nah, they're just no, because they don't belong in cages. They belong out in the world, and I feel like if I'm doing that, it just doesn't feel right. And then, I did find a turtle once, and I tried to make it my pet, and did not work. I had to take it right back to where I found it.
Oh, you found a wild turtle.
Found a wild turtle here in Waukesha. We were driving, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's a turtle!" I picked it up, brought it in the car, and it started to panic. And I know that because it started to pee everywhere.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, you love that. I have a good story about a bird. My sister always had, and we had parakeets too growing up, and there was always the day that you would come and take the cover off of the bird cage, and there would
Mhm.
be little Cheaper with his little claws. He's on his back with his little claws
Yeah.
in the air. But my sister had a number of parakeets, and she would let them fly around the house. And unfortunately, one summer they had a fruit fly outbreak. So she hung up one of those sticky strips
Yeah.
and she let the bird out, and the bird got stuck on the sticky strip. And it's flapping as it's trying to get off of the sticky strip. And ultimately, she was able to free the bird with little trauma, apparently. But that's a story that still goes around her family to this day. And also, fish tank story. My mother was a very, very kind-hearted woman.
Yeah.
And we had tropical fish, and we had angelfish, and we had little neons, which are really tiny little fish.
Oh, I had the neons.
The neons, beautiful, really pretty little fish.
Mm-hmm.
And this angelfish would go after the neons. And it upset my mother so much. And she'd tap on the glass and she'd, flick the glass to try and get the angelfish to be less aggressive. And I was in about 5th grade. And one day I came home from school. And those little nets that you can put inside the fish tank?
Yeah.
Like a little holding cell?
Yeah.
That's where she put the angelfish in there.
Ooh.
And I said, "Mom, why did you do that?" And she said, "He's in isolation. I want him to think about what he's done." And I said, "Mom, I don't know that the lesson, the grounding of the angelfish is actually going to have the reaction that you were hoping it was going to have." And then ultimately, I think the angelfish might have gotten lost down the disposal.
There's a lot of craziness at the house.
At the Matnair household.
Yeah.
These things happen. We were a funeral family, so you want to be careful when it comes to the demise.
I want them to think about what they did.
I want him to think about what he's done. I laughed so hard I thought I was going to wet my pants.
I think next step is you deny fish flakes. No fish flakes for dinner.
No, but as long as he's only in his isolation net, because otherwise then you can't feed the whole rest of the crew. So not going to work out. All right. Well, congratulations to Rudy the pig in Madison, freely roaming on his leash with his competent human being. As long as it's not more than the leash has to be 6 feet long. So happy ending there for Rudy and the family. Coming up, Michael Clemons, our sports reporter for the Civic Media Network, and he literally is everywhere, that man. He pretty much travels with the team and eats, sleeps, and breathes Packers. So Michael Clemons is going to be joining us right after the break and talk about that really kind of surprising comeback from zero score that the Packers had yesterday. So they really turned things around in the last quarter, in the fourth quarter. And then coming up at 11:30, joining us live in studio is Robin Grams with the City of Waukesha. And Wauk-tober is coming up, which is that's a big deal and a wonderful way to see Waukesha and downtown Waukesha, which really is adorable. If you've never been here, I really do encourage you to come and check it out. So more to come. Please stay with us. You can always check in. You can always leave a comment. You can comment on the live stream. You can send us a text or a call at 844-967-2789. Stay close. This is As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. Kristen is on maternity leave. I'm Jane Matnair filling in. Greg Buck is on the board, and joining us on the phone, Michael Clemons, sports reporter for the Civic Media Network. Michael, what a game yesterday!
It was special.
It was special.
It was a special day.
It really was. 18-17, Packers trailed the entire game, and then all of a sudden, what, Mike, in the fourth quarter, things turned around and the momentum just switched.
Well, and it's alumni weekend. So you got Jerry Kramer and Dave Robinson, some of the players still left from the Lombardi era that came in, Lynn Dickey and those players from the 80s. And then like Leroy Butler and Gilbert Brown, our own Gilbert Brown that's on our network of stations from the, Brett Favre, Mike Holmgren Super Bowl era. So those guys came back this weekend. They're in the stands. They're recognized at halftime. Packers come out against a Saints team. The Matt LaFleur, warned us, this is a very good defense. These guys are very physical. The secondary is very physical against the receivers. They get away with a lot. And that's the way the game was playing out at the start. Except the Packers, they had like 7 penalties even before halftime.
Yeah.
And under Matt LaFleur, they have not had a problem with penalties. I think they ended up having 11 for 90 yards by the end of the day. So I think it was a combination of the refs were calling everything. And the other thing is that the Packers were just not used to some of the contact they were getting in the secondary from those guys. And they were having mental mistakes too. They were losing David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, their starting left tackle and left guard, were out of the game because of injuries. So all these things were screwing up their drives. But it was like the game against the Falcons. I thought LaFleur had another good game plan, and that's because you still saw receivers breaking free and getting open through the first 3 quarters. It's just that Love, was not connecting with them. And then things turned at the start of the fourth quarter, and the defense came up with some big plays. And Rashawn Gary, a guy who suffered a torn ACL in a game against the Lions on the turf at Ford Field last November, and amazingly he's back. He gets another 3 sacks in the game. He's sacking the quarterback. He took Derek Carr, their starting quarterback, out of the game with a shoulder injury. It might be an AC joint sprain. He had to go to the hospital to have that X-ray. Jameis Winston, he's a veteran. He came in, but things just started to click for Jordan Love. And did you see on some of those touchdowns, those players in the end zone with their hands cupped like the shape of a heart? That they've got Jordan Love's back. That entire team does. And That's what was making the difference yesterday.
It's really interesting that you say that, Mike, because to have that blatant of a expression of their support for him after the way that Aaron Rodgers kind of treated everybody like second-class citizens, it's really wonderful to see. It is. It's got to be great for the players and for the team.
Well, and at some point you take a step back and realize the entire organization for the last 3 or 4 years that Aaron was here was hell bent on winning a Super Bowl for Aaron. It was almost like guilt. Like, people are going to say long after we leave here, God, you had Aaron Rodgers and you only won one Super Bowl. And that's what the whole organization. Now they're winning it for themselves, for everybody.
Right, for everybody.
This group of rookie receivers. The quarterback is an equal with all those guys. And now it's starting to think like, Aaron Rodgers probably did this organization a favor by moving on and trying to sort of rejuvenize his image with the New York Jets. So Love just he got more focused. Here's another thing that happened. The 2-minute offense when they kind of go no huddle and they hurry up and they just dink and dunk and short little passes left and right. And usually save that for the last couple of minutes of a game, maybe when you're down by a touchdown or something. They went to that playbook pretty much at the start of the fourth quarter. And so when you talk to the players about, what changed, and they said, we drill that 2-minute offense order every day. So when we went to that, we stopped thinking. We didn't have to think anymore. It was all like muscle memory. And that's when things started clicking. They moved down the field. Now, you can't do that a whole game, but if you can do it for 3 or 4 series like they did, you start wearing out veteran defenses, and they start getting gassed. And that's some of the things that made the difference. Now, nevertheless, the Packers now had just taken the lead, 18-17. They have to kick off to the Saints, and then the Saints dink and dunk, and they move down the field, and they get past the 50-yard line. Then they had a rookie kicker by the name of Rupi, and he went wide right from 48. And so, a little bit of luck involved. It was a game that had some good preparation, some grit, and a little bit of luck at the end for the ball to go wide right, which just makes it even more of a classic. 78, I'll tell you, Jane, I've covered a couple of games at Camp Randall when the Badgers play. When they do the jump around at the end of the third quarter?
Yes.
That old press box waves. It's really sickening. It's like, come on, man. But the guys have been covering the Badgers for 30 years. They're used to it. But I every time that happens, I'm grabbing onto a pole. For the first time ever in all the years that I've been covering Packers, the press box at Lambeau Field rocked when that kid missed that field goal.
Oh, I bet. I
swear,
I bet
was standing there, and I thought it was like a small earthquake.
Do we have time for the clip, Greg, or not? I know we only got about a minute left, but a minute and a half left.
We should, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Struggled on 4th down today. Love will take it in. He told us he would do the Lambeau Leap on a rushing touchdown.
I ain't never been a part of a win like that before in my career in the National Football League. Give it up for yourself.
All right, Packers win over the Saints, 18-17. Mike Clemons, our sports reporter for Civic Media. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. That's so last minute. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jane.
Take care. We will talk to you again. All right, stick around. Coming up next, Wauk-tober. We're going to find out all about that. Robin Grams from the City of Waukesha is going to be joining us live. Stay right here. This is As Goes Wisconsin. Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. I'm Jane Madnier in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach is on the board. And now we are going to be talking a little festival, Walkie Fest kind of thing. Joining me from the city of Milwaukee, Robin Grams, thank you so much for coming in. And tell me about Wauk-tober.
Waukesha, so we put on the Wauk-tober Beer and Wine Walk every October. This year it is October 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. and we have 5 tickets remaining. So
you only have 5 tickets left?
5 tickets out of the 325 that we put online.
Wow. So this has really grown.
It has, yes. So in the past years, we've usually had maybe 2 to 3 sponsors. We have 9 this year.
That's terrific.
Yes, yeah.
So how does this all work?
So we find the sponsors. So I'll just do a shout out real quick. We have Crush Wine Bar, Smart Asset Realty, Quick Trip, Waxing the City, Waukesha Civic Theater, Polish Patina, Waukesha Chamber of Commerce, the Almont Gallery, and Summit Woods. So we got a good list of sponsors this
That's
year.
great.
And so what we do is then we find host sites in the downtown. So we'll have 16 different host sites this year, 16 different stops that are retail based. The wine bars are included as well.
Sure.
But what we do then is we do a beer wine sample at each location. So when you order your tickets, you pick beer or wine. You can change it the day of if you have a feeling for one or the other.
Okay.
But it's 16 different stops where you get to sample a different wine or a local Wisconsin beer. And then each place will have appetizers as well. And then the participants also get a gift bag with some promo items.
And how much are the tickets?
The tickets were 2 for 60 or 1 for 35.
That's really a good deal.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah, it is.
And what a great night out, and give you a chance to get exposed to a little libation you maybe haven't had before,
Yeah.
and also some of the different places that you can stop downtown.
Yeah, it's great because you get a lot of people going to these downtown businesses that might not have been to Waukesha before. I know we've done a poll in the past, and many aren't from Waukesha, and they come from all over. But it gets another 325 people to downtown, to the businesses, the restaurants, and the events from 4 to 7. So we encourage people then to grab a bite to eat at one of our great downtown places.
It's an adorable downtown.
It is.
It's very walkable. It's very pedestrian friendly. And I think sometimes people associate Waukesha with the burbs. And like as you're driving here on Blue Mound Road and you're coming down, we actually have a downtown in Waukesha.
We do.
Like a real downtown with shops and stores and resale shops and jewelry stores and bars and restaurants. And it's a little confusing getting around, perhaps. But there's public parking.
Mhm.
Is parking an issue the night of Wauk-tober?
No, we haven't ever really had a problem with the parking. We have the 2 parking ramps, one on South Street and then the other North Street ramps. And um, it's free for the first couple hours and then $3 for 24 hours.
Oh.
So if you leave your car overnight, you got
Greg is laughing.
you get you pay $3 for that.
The only place I've ever seen parking cheaper is Racine, where it's like $1 for the whole day.
Yeah.
That is a deal. It really is. Is this something that you personally attend every year?
So I put it on. So I make sure everybody's having fun. I walk around, check on all the host sites, but my wife attends. There's people that will attend.
And report back to you.
Yeah, I drive her home at the end of the night. So.
That's good. Always good to have a driver if you're going to be doing something like this. Make sure someone is sober. We don't want anybody to get in any trouble.
No, and we do have designated driver tickets that people have
Oh,
bought.
do you?
So they have different non-alcoholic drinks at each of the stops as well.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So where can people find the tickets?
So you can go to our downtownwaukesha.com page. Like I said, there's not many rooms.
5 tickets left.
Tickets left.
I wouldn't wait if you want to go.
Yeah. So, but our downtown Waukesha page has a lot more stuff on it as well. Just we have a calendar. We have we post a lot of the activities that happens downtown, and I'm not sure people know, but there's a Waukesha Downtown Business Association. So they put on events like the art crawl is going to be the weekend of October 7th from 2 to 8, and that's
great.
downtown.
Great.
And then what downtown trick or treat in the local businesses is on the 28th from 1 to 3.
How does so the kids just get to go to different businesses downtown?
Yep, and get candy.
How fun. What's the age cutoff for that?
Jane,
I'm just asking. I'm merely curious.
I don't know if there is one.
What else is coming up in Waukesha that you would like to plug while we got you here?
Well, the main events, the two events that we put on for the as the city is the Riverside Rhythms, which ended at the end of August.
Oh,
That's
it
that
did.
lunchtime concert series that
And what a wonderful little gem that is, too.
it
And
is.
so it's local musicians, and there's
Mhm.
always a food truck,
Right.
and it's right by the river, and it's not mobbed,
No, we averaged about 100 to 125 people
which
this
is
year,
real
which is
comfy.
it is, yes, and there are places to sit in that, but we're always looking for sponsors for the next years, so we're doing that. There is one thing I want to plug is if anybody's looking to help volunteer, we use staff to volunteer the event. So Wauk-tober, if anybody wants to help with check-in, they can let me know.
So if they help to volunteer for Wauk-tober, then can they also partake?
Um, we have to we'll have to see the tickets because we determine the amount of beer and wine ordered
Sure.
based on that 325 people and so we see but at least they get to kind of see how it is and be part of it, but the check-ins at the Waukesha Civic Theater again this year.
Well, and so none of these things happen without volunteers, right?
No, it's yeah, otherwise it's city staff that
And
makes
and
happen.
then taxpayer funded. So no, i- and if it's in your own community, why wouldn't you want to be part of your community? I just think it's a wonderful way to be involved, to make new friends, to make new contacts. It's
Mhm.
we have a loneliness epidemic in this country, and there are ways to alleviate that, but sometimes you have to just go look for them a little bit.
That's why I think a lot of these events are so popular is people have just been wanting to get out after years of being inside. So we've
Exactly.
seen a lot of these events grow.
That's great. That's great. So, trick or treat next month. Walktober is in October. 5 tickets left if you want to do Walktober. What about the Christmas period? I'm sure that planning starts well in advance.
Yeah, so our communications team that we have, the city, they do the planning for that event. But any of our information can be on the downtownwaukesha.com or the City of Waukesha, Downtown Waukesha Facebook and Instagram pages. So a lot of that information is coming up because once we get to the Christmas time, there'll be the silver bells that the Downtown Business Association puts on, the walk of lights, the Christmas tree, the parade, everything like that. So just to keep a look at our calendar, and they'll tell you when those things are.
Robin Grams is with the City of Waukesha. We're talking about Walktober, which is coming up, and a number of other events that are going to be happening in Waukesha and downtown Waukesha over the next couple of months. Anything else, Robin, that's going on that you're excited about that you think people absolutely need to know this about Waukesha?
No, I just think it's a lot of great events going on, but we also our downtown it's busy. There's not a lot of vacant buildings or spaces available. There's w- we we have a lot of businesses that have come into Waukesha and they're staying, and they're noticing that a lot of people are coming down.
Well, and as you mentioned, the art walk, which is also going to happen. I was surprised when I was doing some decorating for the office here, and I went to look around downtown Waukesha to check out the local vendors. There are wonderful art galleries, considering what
Yes.
a small community, what a small downtown area. And so, if you're looking for unique Christmas presents or birthday presents, I think this is a better place to go than going to those big, well, Amazon or all of those other big box stores. If you're looking for unique things, blown glass or, you know, local artists and their products and carvings and paintings and you name it, it's a wonderful resource.
Yeah, they have. I know there's. I think Small Business Saturdays, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, get people down there as well. I know. I think the same weekend as the Arcross, the Vintage Shop Hop, which two of our
Ooh.
businesses, Burlap and Lace and Flippin' Fabulous, are part of that as
Ooh,
well.
that's when is that?
I believe it is also the 7th, but otherwise on our downtown Waukesha calendar, we'll have an updated
Oh,
dates for that.
I'm a big vintage shopper.
Yeah.
Lots of deals. You never know what treasures you will find there, Robin. You never, never, never know. Well, get your tickets now. Don't wait. If Wauk-tober is your thing, you're going to want to jump on those because I would imagine possibly by the time we get off the air today, those 5 tickets will be gone. And consider volunteering as well. Consider getting involved in your own community. And I have to say, too, Robin, the fact that our downtown area here in Waukesha seems to be thriving. And that speaks very highly of the community as well and surrounding communities to keep them going. Because if there's no patrons, then you have no business.
Yeah, and I know over the years, there's the construction on Broadway and Barstow and all that, but though that construction, that work is
Is it
done. The
done?
streets look nice, sidewalks, everything looks good. Yeah.
Well, make your plans now to visit Waukesha and spend some money and spread the love. And it's a wonderful community, and we're located right here too, the WAUK Studios, Wisconsin Avenue, 217 Wisconsin Avenue. So you can drive past and see our lights in the windows now.
You can
and-
wave to us.
Yeah, give us a wave if you're so inclined. You can give us a flip. I don't know. We might just ignore those.
Wow. Jane Mountaineer starting guff.
I'm just like to leave open any eventuality. So right, you got
Of
to.
course, yeah. It was like, hey, it takes all kinds.
It does take all kinds. It absolutely does. Robin Graham's. We got 3 more minutes. Anything else you can think of? Anything you would tell businesses who might be considering a move to Waukesha?
Yeah, the downtown, it's the business owners talk. They're close. The downtown business association and the Waukesha Chamber of Commerce are heavily involved with the growth in Waukesha. With the downtown business association, they put on the events like the farmers market.
Which is a wonderful farmers market.
Yes, and
It
that
is.
goes till the end of October, and then I believe they transition to an indoor farmers market.
Oh,
during
really?
the winter, yes. So, but Friday Night Live is another thing the WDBA puts on, and the Silver Bells, and the chamber helps with the parades, everything. So yeah, and then the last thing too is in November that the one of the memorials in the downtown will be going up on Main Street. So,
Right. That's right. Well, we will talk to you again before that happens and give a chance to highlight that as well. Thank you so much for stopping in today.
yeah, thank you for having me.
Robin Graham is from the city of Waukesha, joining us on As Goes Wisconsin. Just one more break left before the end of our first show without Kristen, who is on maternity leave. So far, Greg Bach, I don't think we broke anything.
If we did, I'm not replacing it.
Well,
I'm not telling anyone.
Well, Robin's the only other guest we've had in here, so we'll just blame it on him.
I like that idea.
All
It's
right.
real good smarts.
All right,
Thinking.
well, we'll go with that. Stay close. We'll be right back. This is As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Natnair in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach is on the phone. Thank you to Robin Grams from the city of Waukesha, for joining us in the studio today to bring us up to speed about some of the many, many wonderful things that are happening in downtown Waukesha. One thing I wanted to make sure to mention, Greg Bach, Keep Our Republic, and we have had them on the show before.
Yeah.
Keep Our Republic is holding a community engagement seminar that's tonight at 5:30 at Fire Station Number 1 in Swamico. So if you're in that area and you're concerned about how voting works and how our voting systems work and what happens after you vote and where do the ballots go and all those things, this is the seminar that you want to attend. They're going to feature county clerks, village clerks, election officials, and election equipment vendors as presenters. This is the second one that Keep Our Republic is hosting in Wisconsin. And these engagement seminars are designed to foster trust, respect, and confidence in Wisconsin's elections. Also give an opportunity for residents to gain insights into the post-election day process, including the crucial aspects of canvassing and the certifications of votes. And I think certainly I did not appreciate all of the checks and balances there are to make sure that ballots are getting counted and that procedures are being followed. It's much more complicated, I think, than people realize. And I think the more that you know about how the system actually works, the better you will feel about the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you know, yeah, the process is, it's not the sexiest process to talk about,
No.
but it does help you, especially with like, when you're, there have been many election nights where someone will say something like, no, that's not how it happens. This is how it happens. We got to make sure we get all the counts in. You can't just announce winners, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think events like this are important. I'm wondering, you know, I'm always curious on these types of events. They're about fostering democracy and letting you know how the process is and how we do things here. And the people who just be like, no, that's all fake. No, it's all rigged.
Right.
This whole event's rigged.
Yeah. No, if you can, and again, it's in Swamico tonight at 5:30 at Fire Station number 1. But I think it's important, if you are interested and you really want to know how the process works, then these are the kinds of things that we should be attending and boning up on, so that we really understand the process. Again, there's lots of safeguards, there's lots of steps, there's
Mhm.
lots of checks and balances, so things are on the up and up. So thank you to them for making a heads up about that for Keep Our Republic. And you can always look for them online as well if you want to get involved.
We can. You said it's tonight.
It's tonight,
It's
5:30.
tonight. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I also feel like, now that we're not in it, we are currently not in a breakneck election process at this very moment.
Right.
It is also very good to talk about the fact that polling places are always looking for polling workers.
Oh, for sure. Just think about the average age of your polling workers. And I love the poll workers in my neighborhood, and they've been the same ones for years. But some of these are quite elderly people, and at some point they will need to be replaced.
Yeah.
And so if you can do that, that would be fantastic. The more you can educate your kids about getting involved, that's something that my mother always did. She was always a poll worker all through our childhood. And I remember it clearly because one of my sisters then had to make dinner, and she always made the same thing.
What'd she make?
She made meatloaf,
Oh, wow.
boiled carrots,
Oh, God.
which were always crunchy,
Good.
and probably potatoes. But yeah, it's like,
It's like the
no,
typical.
Mom, I know.
That's like a dish that they would put down in a Norman Rockwell painting.
Meatloaf and carrots. Yeah.
We have a text from the 608 Angie in Monroe. We need a meeting like this in Greene County really, really bad, explaining the votes, how this all goes, because it's really red there.
Well, again, the organization is called Keep Our Republic, and if they're going to be doing this across the state, so if you would like to, I don't know, make a reach to them or say, hey, come to Greene County.
I mean, we can put the link in the show notes today, and you can at least, if you don't go to the event, you can at least go to their website and see if they'd be willing to do an event there. I mean, it's, learning these kinds of things. It's about working at the polls. If you are a lawyer or you are lawyer adjacent, voter protection, there are ways in safeguarding the process of voting that can fit for you.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I feel good just voting, but like one day I want to become a poll worker when I have more time, because every time I go there, I cast my ballot, whether it's early or on the day, and I always thank them for their help. I always make sure they're appreciated, because they are. And man, there's some shady people out there who are doing shady things, and we want to make sure those individuals are protected, not just because they're people, but because they're protecting the important work.
Absolutely. And the website, by the way, it's keepourrepublic.com. So that's pretty simple. Keepourrepublic.com if you want to reach out to them and see if they can hold one of these seminars in your town or in your county. Keepourrepublic.com. And as Greg said, we will have that in our show notes. Day number one.
Day number one,
Greg Bach. I'm glad we got the first one in the books.
The first one's in the books, my friends. The book of life.
The book of life. Kristen is anticipating maybe she'll be out through December. We'll see how that goes once the baby comes. And still no baby news. Of course, we will tell you once we get any baby news. And
or maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't.
Well, maybe we around when the kid's 17. Oh, by the way, she had the kid.
And her name is Berna.
Her name is Verna,
That's
Bertha,
a surprise for you.
Olga.
Coming up tomorrow, Dan Schaefer will be here from 10:30 to 11 o'clock as we recombobulate. Coming up on Wednesday, David Drake, who is one of our experts from UW-Madison, is going to be joining us on Wednesday to talk about the flamingo sightings.
Awesome.
I know. We had so much fun talking to him the last time about the roseate spoonbill.
He was very nice, but I feel like I had fun. You had unbridled ecstasy towards it.
I know. It's ridiculous.
You talked about multi-pocketed jackets for at least 3 days.
It's just the little joyful things in life, Greg. You got to go. You got to go with what makes you happy.
I agree.
All right. We have news coming up next, then Town Hall. Stay close for that, followed by the Todd Alba Show beginning at 1 p.m. Thanks to everybody. Todd Alba, Greg Bach, Robin Grams, and Michael Clemons for joining the show today. Thanks so much to you for listening, for watching on the stream, for texting and calling. I hope you'll come back tomorrow. This is As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.